Many people begin considering and desiring early retirement as soon as they enter the job market. Although early retirement might not be as rewarding as you think, most people take it sometime in their 40s and 50s. Even though many people want to pursue their passions, some do so for entirely different reasons. Older employees are frequently the first to receive their layoff notices because some people don't have a choice. It's a good way for businesses to save money because they typically have more seniority and earn more money. Finding a new job with a comparable salary becomes more challenging as you age. In comparison to younger workers, older employees experience longer periods of unemployment and find it much harder to recover from a layoff. When you're getting close to retirement, the thought of quitting your job sooner rather than later becomes alluring. Some individuals want to pursue their passions. Many of us have aspirations and objectives that are impractical to achieve while working a full-time job. You might want to start a business, try working for yourself, or travel more. There will be plenty of time after retirement to devote your passion. When we're young and active, we frequently believe that our health will last forever. However, it turns out that's not the case in the end. A lot of workers leave the workforce early due to health issues. Because of the health complications brought on by sedentary work, many workers retire early. Sedentary work can contribute to several chronic illnesses, such as diabetes and heart disease. Many people also quit their jobs early to take care of their families. Our parents require more assistance as we get older. Some chronic health conditions require a lot of support, so it might not be possible to hire full-time help. It's also possible for our partners or kids to experience health problems. Some people believe that it is smarter to take time off work to care for a loved one than to hire someone to do it. Many people express dissatisfaction with their jobs. It might be time for you to consider retirement if you feel this way and can no longer put up with it. Retirement can be challenging if the primary reason for retiring is to leave a toxic work environment. Finding a more fulfilling career first and then retiring when you're truly ready would be a preferable alternative. This will give you some time to plan for a fulfilling retirement. So, as you probably already know, many workers today hope to retire early, but few are prepared to do so. Many people are opting to leave the workforce well before their 60s thanks to the popularity of FIRE, which stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. To enable them to retire much earlier than traditional budgets and retirement plans would permit, the FIRE movement advocates a program of extreme savings and investing. The FIRE movement encourages people to save the majority of their income to retire early, or as soon as possible before they reach the traditional retirement age of 65. Despite how good it all seems, nothing is guaranteed. I'll now go over some of the reasons you might want to rethink your decision to take early retirement. But before we get deeper, if you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. So, without further ado, let's get started. Number 1. The risk of outliving your savings. To run out of money in retirement, one must have used up all of their retirement funds and home equity. One of the biggest worries people have after they retire is typically this. In the US, the average lifespan in 2020 was just under 80 years. Your savings may therefore need to last for more than 3 decades if you retire in your 50s or earlier. The main motivation to continue working may be the effect on your savings and earning potential. For instance, if you retire at age 55 rather than 65, your savings will need to last for an additional 10 years, and once you start taking withdrawals, your income potential will be lower. By taking money out of your savings each time, you're reducing the amount of invested funds that are increasing and providing you with income. You've spent many years building up your retirement nest egg, so when the time comes to retire, you'll need a plan for taking distributions from it. You still wouldn't have enough money to get by even if you knew exactly how long your retirement would last. You run the risk of running out of money sooner than you anticipated if you retire too early and begin spending down your savings. Number 2. Less Social Security income. At least one guaranteed source of income for Americans in their late years is Social Security. Social Security benefits are received by about 90% of American retirees, and they frequently act as a safety net for elderly and indigents. According to the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, Social Security helps more Americans escape poverty than any other program. Your retirement checks will be thinner the earlier you retire. Since checks will be used for a longer period, the Social Security Administration reduces the percentage of monthly payments to early retirees. Retiring at your full retirement age, not earlier, is the best way to maximize your Social Security benefits. You can also use a Social Security calculator if you're unsure of how much you'll receive from Social Security. Based on your annual income, the year you were born, and the date you decide to begin receiving benefits, it predicts your future earnings. Your top 35 years of earnings are used in the benefit calculations. You will get less Social Security if you retire too soon. One drawback to early retirement is that by retiring early, you forfeit the opportunity to use delayed retirement credits. Number 3. Healthcare. It's so simple to think that we'll always be young and healthy, but regrettably, this is not true. Medicare is frequently used by seniors to cover their medical expenses. The cost of healthcare is expected to increase, and retiring early means you have to get by until Medicare kicks in if you have employer-based insurance that expires when you give 2 weeks notice. Compared to those who extend their earning years, those who retire early are more likely to be in poor physical and mental health. Without an employer to cover a portion of your healthcare costs, your out-of-pocket expenses will rise significantly, especially if you retire before reaching Medicare eligibility at age 65. Even though not all employers provide retiree benefits, it's worth inquiring if you plan to take early retirement. You could also purchase a healthcare plan through the health insurance marketplace, but the cost would be significantly higher if your employer didn't contribute. You'll need to find health insurance from a different source if you retire early. Your spouse may have a plan that will cover you if they are still employed. In the absence of that, you might have to purchase a policy through the health insurance marketplace, which might result in significantly higher premiums and out-of-pocket expenses. Number 4. Lower standard of living. Even though you might be eager to leave your controlling boss behind, life without work will present some unique difficulties. According to a survey, more than 2/3 of retirees say their quality of life is lower now than it was during their working years. And the earlier you retire, the easier your life will be, barring a lottery win, of course. Following your retirement budget to the letter can be stressful, perhaps even more so than your previous work obligations, and it's challenging to predict future costs. To maintain your current standard of living or support a different one, you'll likely have a better idea of how much money you'll need the closer you get to retirement. Using this as a starting point, subtract any expenses you anticipate having once you retire and replace them with new ones. You will now have a ballpark figure to work with. Number 5. Difficulty re-entering the workforce. It's not unusual for someone to leave the workforce after retiring and then look for work again a year later. Lack of financial security is frequently cited as a factor in people who leave the workforce after retiring. Many retirees struggle to adjust to the less structured lifestyle of retirement from the daily routines of a full-time job. You start to yearn to return and miss your previous co-workers. Unfortunately, once you leave the workforce, returning is more difficult. According to one study in particular, more than 40% of people who left their jobs early to go back to work did so because they were bored. Even though having an extra 40 hours available each week sounds fantastic, when money is tight, you might quickly come to regret it. Not everyone wants to enter the workforce again. Many senior citizens are content in their retirement and engage in activities they were unable to do while employed. However, some people are forced to return due to financial hardship. It will be challenging and rewarding if you decide to go back to work. And if you're lucky, you might find a company that views your age and experience as a huge asset. Number 6. Boredom. We have a lot of free time after retirement, which can be difficult. The initial plan was to have the time to do whatever you wanted, but things don't go as expected, and sitting around all day gets old quickly. Think carefully about how you want to spend your time and money. If you have expensive hobbies, plan your budget accordingly. To avoid being tethered, consider renting a home if you want to travel rather than owning one. It can be challenging for retirees to adjust to their new lifestyle due to the change in lifestyle after retirement. Many view retirement as a wonderful reward for their many years of labor and service. When it comes time to retire, though things frequently end up being very different, their health begins to suffer as a result of losing their once routine daily routine, friends, family, contact, and social contribution. Therefore, if you're fortunate enough to be able to choose when you retire, it's wise to weigh the benefits and drawbacks before making a decision. Even if you could afford to retire early, you might not want to. It's not just about money when deciding when to retire. In addition, you need to consider your family, your health, and your unique temperament. You must have considered how you want to spend your retirement years, however many there may be. Well, there you have it, guys. Thanks for watching. If you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell button to get updated on our latest videos. Don't forget to like this video and drop a comment. See you next time.